Voices are heard, and the real starts here. The real starts here. The real starts here. No filter, no fear. Truth in the mic, let the whole world hear. Stories unfold, voices sincere. Welcome to the place where the real starts here. From life and love to the latest news. Community voices, different views. Breaking it down so we all stay clear. Honest conversations live right here. Speak your truth, let it be known. This is the space where your voice has a home. No judgment here, just real and clear. Real talk with Tamara, the real starts here. Real talk with Tamara. Real people. Real stories. Real truth.
Hello, good afternoon, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay on today. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps keep the video in the algorithm. So make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of those great things, you guys. You all, I wanted to speak about Pooh Shiesty's lawyer, John Helms, claims that he's never lost a case, okay, with the government, okay? And I think people are brushing over that. I don't think people are paying attention to his words. You know, lawyers are crafty and they choose their words very wisely, okay? Because they don't want, they'll lie, okay? But there are ways, they know how to choose their words very wisely. When in law school, you learn English is, they always tell lawyers that it is good to major in instead of like pre-law and things of that nature. It's good to major in subjects like English and literature because you do a lot of reading, you learn a lot of words, and lawyers have to become something like wordsmiths, right? They're taught to learn a lot of different words, especially those words that you can say that could have a lot of different meanings when you say them, so that you can backpedal. That's why people look at lawyers as liars. Okay, they do embellish a lot. We know this Pooh Shiesty situation is probably getting ready to get heated up. You know, I was looking at Charleston White on a show. I believe it was Vlad, and Charleston White was speaking about how he saw Pooh Shiesty's mom in Vegas. Now he says that Pooh Shiesty's mother actually came up to him. She came up to him, and she actually um, introduced herself to him. And he says that, after speaking with her for just a few minutes, he was trying to get the hell on, okay? And he says that in Vlad's interview, he says that a lot of people think that Pooh Shiesty probably learned a lot of what he learned from his dad, but he tends to believe after having a short conversation with her, Pooh Shiesty learned everything. The reason he is how he is, he learned it from his mother. And in a world where, as women, I mean, I grew up around women that taught you to be ladies, and of course they were, they made the boys be men, but they definitely, I saw my aunts, because I don't have brothers, and my aunties and stuff pray their sons away from gangs. They never promoted that stuff. They never wanted them in gangs. And Charleston kind of brought up when she was featured in that FDO song, and when she spoke about it's time for him to get out. They need his leadership. Well, her son has bragged about being a hitman, taking out people, being a gang leader, and it was shocking to me, to hear a mother actually promote that as it relates to her child. Hey, I understand people come from all walks of life. I grew up in the hood, I could never see myself wanting to promote my child being in such a, it's dangerous enough, but definitely not being a gang leader or being in activities where they're taking other people's lives, just based on gang politics or um, in a situation where they could be unalived, right? Pooh Shiesty definitely had a lot in front of him. Like he had an opportunity coming from where he came from. I do believe that he could have been like the next young Dolph. Okay, once he learned the business. Okay, and I want to say Young Dolph because I believe business wise, Young Dolph was the biggest to do it. I'm not talking about Young Dolph. It see with Yo Gotti and see Yo Gotti is a good rapper and all of that, but Yo Gotti's is a good look. We understand that the business part, he was taken advantage of, and he still basically owned. So not a look, because people, their masters, let them, it has to be a good look because now Gotti has been put out to the forefront by the masters to catch fish as it relates to a lot of these other young African American men so that they can be brought in and put into slave deals. And then Gotti is given more favor based on that. And I do believe an incentive. Lord, I'm off work today and they assigning me cases. Lord have mercy. Okay. It's all good. I love my job. I love the people at my job. Okay. And so, anyways, just based um on that. So I think he could have definitely, if he had learned a business deal. I think about all of the time, like Shiesty didn't have to do that. If he really had people around him, he didn't have the right type of advisors around him. If he had the right type of people around him that if he had the right type of people around him, he could have easily made 10 million off of just the Pooh Shiesty's mask. I believe that Yo Gotti knew that. Yo Gotti had already peeped game on that. That's why he wanted Pooh out of that deal so that he could sign him and own his name, because all the stuff that people was accusing Gucci of, Yo Gotti was getting ready to do the same thing. He was going to own his name, at least with Gucci. Gucci didn't go and get all of these things done, and he was definitely gonna start. He was gonna give Pooh Shiesty a little bit of money, and he was gonna start the Pooh Shiesty brand name. With the Pooh Shiesty mask. God, was going. He could have easily got $10 million. I sat here and did the math many times. If he had, went in and trademarked that, went to China, got him some mask, had them to, got him a vendor and uh, had some designer put on there, did his concerts. The folks come out and when he signed them, autograph them for $100. Get some blinged out Pooh Shiesty masks for the girls. I mean, in different colors. He could have really easily 10 million if he had sold. I've done the math so many times. If he had sold the Pooh Shiesty mask for, let's just say, $50 online. Let me see how many. Let's see how many followers Pooh Shiesty got. I'm getting ready to tell y'all the reason why the young Dolphin got a brilliant mind. But see, I got a business mind too. I always think about the bottom line. Let's see, Pooh Shiesty. We gonna learn some shit up in here today. He got 3.8 million followers. Okay, 3.8 million, and he probably got about 1 million of them that really mess with him the long way. Okay, because everybody want to be a gangster because there's so many misguided people. If he had sold $50 online for Pooh Shiesty mask, he could have sold them for 80. $50. Let's see. He go over to China, get him a vendor. He get the mask for $2. Get somebody to design them. Maybe that would have been another per mask to put uh, bling and stuff on it. He make a deal. Let's see, $10 per design. So already that's $12. Let's take away the 12. Okay, $12 minus 50. He gonna sell them for 50. We have a math class up in here today. Okay. times that's $38 million that dude could have made. Yo Gotti knew it just with the Pooh Shiesty mask in this era where all these kids look up to these celebrities, and then they would have just thought it was cool. A lot of white kids would have thought that it was cool. Okay, that FDO first day out. Okay, he could have marketed to that to the down the down chicks who waiting on they dude for FDO first day out. They would have sold that dude out online. $30 per t-shirt. They'd have been standing out there all over the United States, all over the world, waiting with that FDO shirt. Don't let Shiesty come to their town and he sign it. Come and get your autograph. Okay? Come and get my autograph for your dude that's been behind the wall. Okay? Let me write a little something on there. Okay, when he get out, she's standing out there. When he walk out that prison with that FDO shirt with Pooh Shiesty and wrote a little message, "Stay up, young blood," or something like that. Do you understand me? Yo got it peep game on that. That's the reason why it was killing him. Gucci could have did it. He got a business mind. He didn't even want to take that. But if he had the right type of people around him, that dude didn't even have to worry about that with Gucci. He could have made himself a millionaire in 6 months, a multi-millionaire. That's the reason why Gotti was able to try to get him. Okay, Gotti wanted to try to get him because Gotti was going to own his name and then take those ideas and make that generational wealth for itself and give Pooh Shiesty a little bit of it. But Gotti knew that he was never going to release Pooh Shiesty. And especially not for him to come and sign with CMG. So as long as Pooh Shiesty was with 1017, he was a op to Gotti, and they tricked him out of his position because he knew that being that he's supposedly a CEO, that's what they say, okay. Um, but that could just be the look because the man owes a lot of debt. So I'm sure when they get these loans and stuff, these advancements, they have to put up collateral. I'm sure on paper he don't really own it, okay, which is why he probably gave another percentage. He, let me show him. He didn't gave a percentage of his company to his sister. He trying to protect himself in case Young Dolph family come after him, okay, and when the feds come after him, okay. And so, because he know, trust me, he know a lot of stuff that he don't tell, okay. He ain't supposed to tell it, okay. But now, um, and so that's why they tricked him out of his position. He got to try to recoup this money. God, it could have been signed other artists, but more artists are wising up. It's a lot of he got to try to spend money to keep up with the times as it relates to his artist bag getting old. Glorilla, he have to put a lot of money into advertisement to push her. And you have other girls constantly coming out and they music sound good and they see the in the time of finesse 2 time them putting out game like what Doc was trying to do about what record labels have done or are doing to them on that paperwork. They ain't messing with record labels like that. People have gotten smarter. We're in a new time, okay? We're in a new time. Now, Pooh Shiesty is in jail. Let's get to this. Pooh Shiesty is in jail. And folks have been going around hollering about, Shiesty lawyer ain't never lost a case in 20 years. Y'all know I pulled him up, okay? I got curious about that because one thing I do is I pay real close attention to what people say, okay? John Helm, okay? He says he hasn't lost a case for the government when he was working for the government in 20 years. And that's what people are overlooking. He said he didn't say in 20 years. He said he never lost a case when he was working as a federal prosecutor for the government. Okay. He didn't say that's what he said. And so he's very crafty with his words, right? So I looked into him a little bit and I saw that he had been a lawyer for over maybe 20 years, almost 30 years, right? So I looked into when he had been a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor. He was a federal prosecutor from May of the year of 2000 all the way until March of 2003. That's been over 20 years ago, okay? And when he was a federal prosecutor for the government, he ain't gonna say that because he already know black people don't listen. They'll take that and run with it. He knows that he could put that into the atmosphere, and people are not going to ask questions about when were you a federal prosecutor. He knows that black folks are not going to ask that. Okay, so he was a federal prosecutor in the year of 2000, from 2000 May of 2000 to March of 2003. Okay, so 2 years and 10 months, right? So he didn't have enough time to lose a case. He was only there 2 years and some change short. He was a couple months short of 3 years. So he didn't stay at the federal prosecutors long. He went over to being a defense attorney. He's been a defense attorney way longer than he could have ever been a prosecutor because he's been practicing in defense for over 20 years now. How come he didn't say he never lost a case being a defense attorney? So he was very crafty with his words because he knew these damn fools out here was going to take that and run with it. Okay? Now, me personally, I don't want to see Shiesty get a lot of time, but I do feel like Shiesty should be institutionalized because he's very dangerous. Shiesty is very dangerous, and he's very dangerous. His mentality, and because he feels like people want him to be that, and he's got to be that. That's what makes him even more dangerous because he feels like the public is looking, and it is expected for him to be dangerous. Okay, so he got to get some time to open his eyes, but he needs to be. He's institutionalized, and he's very dangerous. Okay, and I've watched, looking at Shiesty and like the straight drops and all of them. Straight dropping them are stupid. Okay, that's what makes them dangerous. They're very stupid. And they're very stupid because they're not talented, and they're very incompassionate. If I said that right, uncompassionate or incompassionate. I think deep down, Shiesty might have a soul, but he's messed up. Okay, and he doesn't. He don't have to go and do a lot of the shit straight dropping them doing. That's okay, because he's talented. He's actually got the talent. But he is a dangerous person because his mentality is totally messed up. So he definitely needs to be habilitated because I don't think it's there anything there to rehabilitate. It was never anything there. And that's what's so sad, right? Now his lawyer, people are saying that they think his lawyer is going to get him off. The lawyer was crafty enough to say, when I worked for the government, I never lost a case, but he didn't say how many years he had worked as a federal prosecutor. 2 years. He didn't even really get his feet wet. Because I know I work for the feds. That paperwork, it's so much paperwork that it runs. If you ain't strong, it's going to run you away. And the system as he knew it, when he was working in the inside, is totally different. I'm sure he got a lot of friends and stuff over there. All lawyers are friends, okay? I told y'all I'm studying law now. I'm in school and studying law, and lawyers stick together. They fight against each other in the courtroom, but they want to win. So they'll get in the courtroom and fight like cats and dogs and be out on the golf course, okay? So when people say that, yeah, you have some lawyers that'll sell you out, but a lot of them are just competitive, okay? But so I would like to know, and he didn't say it, okay? Because he can't say that he's never lost a case. That's unethical as a lawyer. And he knows that he has, but he never spoke about his record as a defense attorney. And people are overlooking that. And he's been a defense attorney for way over 20 years. That's what we want to hear about, not about something that he did way back in 2000 to 2003, over 20 years ago, when he was working as a federal prosecutor. I would like to know his background, his history. I bet you he could not tell you that he has not lost the case as a defense attorney. he can play with words because he know these damn fools ain't smart enough to catch that. They'll just run with it and say Shiesty gonna get off because his lawyer has never lost a case in 20 years, and that's not what he said. But he appreciates you all putting that out there. It makes him look good, because if can't nobody write to, it's on paper what he said, so no other lawyer could write to the law board and say that he's doing false advertisement, he's putting out false statements. He ain't say that. These damn fools said that because they don't pay attention to anything, which is why these lawyers are crafty and able to manipulate. He ain't did nothing wrong. He told the truth. He never lost the case when he worked as a federal prosecutor, but he ain't gonna tell you because he wasn't there long enough, and it was over 20 years ago. 2 years ain't long enough to lose a case. And let me just say this, when you're working for the government, the judges are always in your favor, not unless you get in there and like Carla and them did and just plain dumb. And Jennifer Mitchell tried to help them, but they didn't know enough about the law, and Manny Moon walked all over them. You don't have that happening over there with them federal prosecutors in no state. Okay? Because they be ready. They got a lot of experience behind them, and they are just as crafty. Now, I'm not saying that he's not a good lawyer. I'm saying that I want to know if he can say that he's never lost a case in 20 years as a defense attorney. I bet you he can't say it. He had more favor on his side, and every lawyer knows this. When you're in that courtroom, the favor is always, the judges have, they have to, they're supposed to not show any favoritism. But the state, the government, not the state, but the government, rather, is the state or the feds. The favor is always is always on their side. I'm telling you. So he could say that because he had a good team behind him. The government has unlimited money and resources, especially the federal government, just like the FBI do, the federal prosecutors do too. They got a bomb-ass team. They got bomb-ass investigators. They got the FBI working with them. Their funds are unlimited. So he couldn't lose. And then you got the judge who's he going to always lean a little bit more towards the government, even though he's going to say I'm neutral. That's any judge. Okay? But I want to know what his history is since he's been working for 20 years as a defense attorney. Can he say he's never lost a case? He's never took a plea deal. Can he say that? I want to know more about what he has had going on since he's been a defense attorney. I don't give a damn about what he did 20 years ago for 2 years when he worked as a federal prosecutor. But, you know, people ain't going to ask those questions. Okay? So I still think whatever we was thinking before Shiesty got that attorney, we should still think that. Okay? If you felt like he was going to be sailed up the river, you shouldn't let your opinions change based on the embellishment and the craftiness of what an attorney put out. And he didn't say anything wrong. He just knew that people was not going to let that process, that he worked for the government a long time ago. They don't understand the way that things work. Federal prosecutors win cases all day, every day. That's how they do. They might lose a little bit. They're going to get something. Okay? Because even in Diddy's, people try to say, well, the feds lost. No, they didn't. They got what they wanted. Okay? Because they overcharged him so that they could wake him up and get something. Okay? I don't know if it's going to make him a bigger beast, because I don't think it's going to change him. Okay? He ain't going to change because he's angry and mad because he can't live the way he want to live, when all he got to do is just do it, put on his rainbow suit and do it. He ain't got to be mean to no women. Just put on his rainbow suit and do it. Okay? So he's got issues there. But they still got something for him. Where he at? His ass in that jail. Might be the same with Shiesty. Okay? It might be the same with Shiesty. I got to say, good lawyers are always good. I'm not saying that this man is not a good defense attorney. I believe that he is. But I bet you he can't say that he has not lost a case in 20 years as a defense attorney. He never said anything about that. That's what y'all need to ask him. What is your record as a defense attorney? Damn, all that shit you talking about 23 years ago when you was working for the government, and he was crafty enough to say, as the government, as the federal prosecutor, what have you done as a defense attorney? Because I can bet you the conversation is going to be different and the answer will be too. Okay. So, anyways, you guys, I just wanted to talk about that. I got some more videos that I need to do. Okay. I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.